Hi everyone and welcome to DreamSpace TV here in One Microsoft Place in Dublin. My name is Amanda.
And I'm Corey.
In today's episode we are going to explore another coding concept. The concept we're going to look at today is loops. And what we're going to do is we're going to take on a challenge called the Obstacle Course Challenge to help us understand how loops work.
Sounds super exciting, I cannot wait. But before we do that, let's review on our last episode. Because in our last episode, we learned all about conditional statements. And we talked about how a conditional statement is just how a computer makes a decision. And they use the keywords if and then. Myself and Amanda then challenged you to create your very own board game that had its own conditional statements in it. We hope that you are able to test this out at home with some family or friends, or even in school with your teachers and classmates.
We've also looked at lots of skills, haven't we, Corey?
A lot.
So if we think back over the last two episodes, we looked at making a windmill, we've made our board game, and that hasn't just involved the physical making, we've had to use lots of different skills. Corey, what skills do you think you've really used during this?
Well, I think personally for me anyway, I've really been working on my problem solving skills because I encountered quite a few problems when I was making my windmill. Okay, so like for example, when I was drawing out my plan, I said I was going to use a thumbtack, but when it actually came to it, the thumbtack wouldn't even fit through my windmill. So I really had to use my problem solving skills there and think, oh, what other materials do I have on my table that I can use?
Okay, well there's one example of a skill. So now would be a good time to pause and think back over the skills that you've had to use over the last two episodes to complete the challenges. So Corey, I know that I've definitely had to use creativity a lot.
Yeah.
If I think about, for example, the board game, I had to think about what the game was going to involve, how the players would interact with the game, what the conditions were going to be, lots of things to do with the game. And I really had to use my imagination and be really creative with that.
Yeah.
So that's another skill. So creativity, 100%. What about you? Any other ones then?
Well, when I think about it, I actually think that we've been using our critical thinking skills a lot. Because think about it, right? We have been creating these challenges and I think we've actually been really thinking outside the box on them. So we've been using our critical thinking skills to do with that, but also when we've been improving upon our challenges.
Yes.
So for example, we always review and then we do it, but then we always take time at the end to look back and say, well, if I was to do it next time, well, what would I do better?
Yeah, brilliant. And another thing we've looked at a lot are our coding skills. Now, you might be thinking, no, we haven't done any coding, but we've been working on challenges that make us think like coders. We call this way of thinking computational thinking. And it's something we've worked on up to now, and we're going to continue to work on today, because today we're going to look at a new coding concept, like I said, called loops. So now would be a good time to pause and think about what are loops and how are they used in a coding program. So loops are sequences of instructions that happen over and over again for a set amount of times. If we think about a coding program, Corey, for example, we might want our player to jump up and down in the game a certain amount of times. So we might say, instead of just giving that one instruction, jump up and down, and having to write that out 10 times, we could say, write it once, and then, do you know what, repeat this thing 10 times. And that would be a loop. So it saves us lots of time, it condenses down the instructions we have to give, makes our programs much more efficient.
Now, today we are going to be looking at loops, aren't we? But we're not going to be looking at them in a coding term. We're going to be doing that in a couple of more episodes, aren't we, Amanda?
Yeah.
Today, we're actually going to be creating our very own obstacle course that has loops within it. And I have to say, I think this is actually going to be my favourite challenge yet, because I still love making obstacle courses.
Me too.
So before we get started, I think it's actually a good idea if maybe I create one obstacle and you create another obstacle.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Because again, we brought in our materials from home, so we're going to have different materials on our tables. So let's have a look at my materials. So I actually have quite a few, which is good because it gives me options, okay? So I have some Play-Doh that I could use, some pipe cleaners. But one thing that I definitely think that I'm going to use is this water bottle.
Ah, very good.
So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I know it's going to come in really, really useful. I also have some balloons. So I think I might use this because I want our obstacle course to be really, really fun, and balloons are fun. So I think I'll use them, obviously.
Okay.
And then I have some foam I might use and my good old thumbtacks, but remember they're sharp. So if you are using them at home or in school, be sure to be really, really careful. Okay, I'm gonna get started.
So I'm gonna have a look at the materials that I have here then, Corey. So I think I have different things to you actually.
Yeah.
So as always, we've just kind of looked around what we have at home. So I have, for example, these kitchen paper rolls so that I could use. So I have 2 of them. So I'm thinking about this. I also have some pipe cleaners as well. I have some sellotape. I have my scissors, as always, just be careful if you're using your scissors. And I've lots of other things. And because I used to be a PE teacher and I love PE and I love being active, of course, when I was looking at home, I had a skipping rope, okay? So that's going to be really useful. We might include a bit of a skip in our obstacle course as well. So I think I'm happy though with the obstacle I'm going to make. You're happy with the obstacle you're going to make.
I am.
So as always, what we're going to do now is make the plan of how the course is going to work.
Yep.
Remember, what we want to do actually is include some loops. So we're going to include at least 3 loops in our obstacle course. So try and be keeping an eye out for them as we plan. So let's go ahead and make a plan, Corey. Now I know the area that we're going to do this in is in a corner here in DreamSpace. So we have a certain area. I'm going to just draw a square to represent that area. So this is kind of the area. Oh, we're going to the rainbow ink. I'll go back to this one for a second. As much as I love the rainbow ink.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, so this is my square area that we are going to be working in. What do you think?
Yeah, love it.
So we need a start area, so wherever the person who's taking part in the obstacle course begins at. And actually on my table, I don't know if I showed you, but I have there's like stars, like foam stars, so I might use that. So we might say, right, there's a star that we'll put on the floor there, and we'll mark that as our start zone. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it.
Then the player, the person taking part, is going to have to run to the first obstacle. So I'm going to write number 1 here. And I think that can be the obstacle that I make.
Yeah.
So we might have to talk about that in a second, what that's going to involve. What do you think?
Okay.
Then the player can run, or the person can run to number 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
And
what if we just put the skipping rope there for that one?
Okay, perfect, yeah. So we go skip. Yeah, perfect. And then we can go to 3. That can be yours, Corey.
Yes.
Whatever that's going to be. You can tell us about that one in a minute. And then back. Now, we want to include some loops. So how about, I'm kind of thinking here that for my my obstacle, I'm going to build some sort of like a little hurdle that the person has to jump over.
Okay.
And I don't want them just to have to jump over that once. That will be just one sequence of instructions. Remember, we want to loop it.
Yeah,
so we want to tell the person to jump over it maybe 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah. Snap. So go by 3. What do you think?
Yeah.
So that's going to be number 1. The person has to do that obstacle 3 times. Then skip.
I'm going to say 10. You're the one doing it.
We haven't decided that yet. Yeah, so 10 times. Okay, and then what about your obstacle?
Well, I think mine might be something that we can like run around. So if you want to say 3 times to match yours.
3 times. Okay, perfect. So, and then they're going to come back. Now, do you think we should get them to do that again, maybe?
Get them to do it again.
Okay, so not only are they going to have to do all of this, they're
Yeah.
going to have to do that twice.
Yeah.
And that means that that's another loop, really, doesn't it? So it's going to be not just repeat each exercise a certain amount of times, but repeat the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I'll just do, I don't know, there's a lot of arrows going on here, but we'll just say repeat all by 2. Okay? What do we think?
Yep, I'm liking it so far.
So, Corey, how many loops do we have here now?
Okay, well, we have your obstacle, which has been looped 3 times.
Yep, so that's 1 loop.
We have the skipping rope. That's been looped 10 times.
Yeah.
And we have my obstacle, which has been looped 3 times.
3 times.
And then, not to forget, we're actually doing it all again. So that's another loop.
So we actually have 4 loops. So remember, with your one, you're going to have well, we said 3, but you
Yeah.
can have more, obviously. We have 4. We could go on and on, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But that's as many. And remember, it's a loop because we've said repeat this a certain amount of times. Okay. What I want to do now is really just quickly sketch out my plan for my obstacle based on materials I have, now that we know how we're laying it out. So I am going to say, I talked about my kitchen paper rolls.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say we have 2 of them. And remember, I want to create like a hurdle. So we need something to kind of
go over
bridge
the top.
the gap here, don't we?
Yeah.
So really simply, actually, I think I had a couple of pipe cleaners there. So I might just use different colour pipe cleaners just across the top to make some sort of a barrier that I have to know I have to actually jump over it. And don't forget, what have I need to remember, Corey, my labels.
Oh, your labels.
Yeah.
I almost forgot there. Thankfully, you reminded me.
So kitchen paper rolls. We're going to go pipe cleaners. And obviously, we need to just think about how I'm going to stick all these together. But I'm pretty happy that that's my obstacle.
Yep.
Anyway, what about your obstacle, Corey?
Okay, well, for mine, what I'm thinking about is I said I was going to use the water bottle, didn't I?
Yes.
So what I will do is I'm going to draw mine here. I'll try my best to draw a water bottle. Kind of looks like a candle. But anyway, we'll go with it. And then on my water bottle, I'm going to have my balloons, okay? So I'm going to have, woohoo, balloons coming off it. So you're going to have to run around them. And do you know what? Just because I like being creative, I think I might just add some added flair to this, even though I don't really think it's going to be important, but I think it will look cool.
Yeah.
So maybe here I'll take some, you know, some green paper and colour in my water bottle, and then I'll have my balloons, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, perfect.
So now would be a really good opportunity at home or in school for you to plan out your own obstacle course. But remember, it must include at least 3 loops. Okay, so I think I'm nearly there. How are you getting on, Amanda? Any problems?
Yeah, so I'm happy enough, like it's going okay, except I think maybe I could probably jump a bit higher than this.
You could definitely jump higher than that.
So I'm thinking now after putting this together, I might need to raise my pipe cleaner bar.
Yeah, but do you have any more of those rolls?
No, I don't actually. So I don't have any more of the kitchen towel rolls, but I could maybe just improvise and use maybe some straws and attach the pipe cleaners to them.
Good idea.
And lift them up that way. So I think that's what I might do. What I might do though is I might just test it first.
Yeah.
Before I raise it higher and I can't get over it, I might just give it a little test, see how high I am jumping, and then I'll come back and improve it before we go and try it on the obstacle course.
Sounds good.
What about you?
Okay, well, I've noticed that my balloon keeps falling over to the side, and I'm trying to get it to stand up straight, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So what I might do is I actually might add a second balloon. So then it's kind of like even, and as well, there's a lot of weight then, and it's kind of like anything could make it tip over.
Get it balanced.
Yeah, balanced.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be done shortly.
Yep. Okay, woohoo! I think I'm done with mine, Amanda. What about you?
Yeah, I'm finished. I think I'm ready to go, although I'm a little bit worried about the height I've made this hurdle. But anyway,
You'll
we'll
be
give it a
well
shot.
able. Okay, let's put Amanda through her paces and let's get this obstacle course started.
Right, let's head over and get this set up.
Okay, Amanda, let's get this show on the road. What do you think?
Yeah, I wish I had my shorts or my tracksuit bottoms with me. I wish I had a bobbin for my hair, but I'll try my best.
Oh,
Let's
you'll do great. Okay, so I'm going to start with our starting point, which is our star.
Yeah.
And I'm going to place it maybe about here. What do you think?
Yeah, so looks good to me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go there now and get myself ready.
Then next of all is your obstacle. And I think I'm going to place this maybe about here.
Okay.
That gives you enough room to jump, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, next, your favourite, the skipping rope. And I'm just thinking maybe here I think is a good spot. Gives you enough room, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then last, but certainly not least, is my obstacle. Okay, so I'm going to carry this carefully because I don't want the balloons to come off. So I'm going to place this here. And I think we might be good to go. But don't go anywhere yet.
Okay.
Because I want to time you. So
Okay,
just grab the
getting nervous
surface.
now. Right.
Don't be nervous, you'll be great. Okay, so I have the timer here ready to go. Warmed up.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. Don't forget to remind me of the loops, Corey.
Yes, okay.
And
so,
even anyone watching, if you can remember the loops, just so I can get around. All right.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so your first one is 3 over. Well done.
Okay.
10 skips, repeat 10 times, remember? 2, 3. Oh, start again.
Start again.
Start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woohoo! Okay, off to your next one now, and you're running around this. Repeat 3 times. This is your last one.
I'm getting dizzy.
Whew. And then back to the start.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Here we go.
You're at 30 seconds. You're doing well. And repeat 10 times for the skipping rope. Whew. Hopefully get this one in one go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. Run around 3 times. I'm back to the start. Oh, amazing. Okay, that was excellent. 48 seconds for the 2 runs.
I'm exhausted.
Fair play to you. I would not have been able to do that. Oh, I'd say you are wrecked. Okay, well done.
Thank you.
So you're back, Amanda. How do you feel?
I'm still a bit tired, to be honest, but I'm okay. I'm getting there.
Fair play to you. I wouldn't have been able. But now that you're back, okay, let's actually review what we've just done. So let's review our loops, let's review our equipment, and let's actually think about any improvements that we could make. So first up is our loops. You had to actually do the course 2 times. Anyway, so that was our first loop. And then you had to actually jump over your obstacle 3 times.
3 times, which was really hard because remember I added the extra height to this. So in hindsight, I think I would have left it at the height of the kitchen paper roll. But anyway.
And the second one that you done was the skipping rope, and you had to repeat that 10 times.
10 times. And Corey was really mean with that one because when I broke after 4, she told me I had to start at the beginning. So that was tough going.
Sorry about that, Paul. Then your final one was that you had to run around my obstacle 3 times.
Okay, yeah.
Now, reviewing the equipment, I definitely noticed that my obstacle was a little bit flimsy. Like you nearly actually knocked it over when you were running.
Yes.
So I don't know, like it's a water bottle and it needs more weight to it. So we could literally just put water in that.
Yeah.
That'd
seal it up and then it's going to be extra heavy. And even if I knock it actually, it might wobble, but it will probably return back to its center to its kind of equilibrium then. Yeah.
Now, on review of the whole obstacle course, is there anything that you would improve or change?
Well, I'm just thinking back to what we've learned so far when we talked about computational thinking earlier and those skills, that coding warm-up for a couple of episodes' time when we get coding. And couldn't we add some conditional statements that we looked at last week?
Ah, very good.
Like an if-then statement?
Yes.
So we just need to decide what the condition is. So what do you think we can look at?
Okay, well, let's base it on the time that it takes you to run around the course.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, sounds good. So how about we say, if the time, and we can maybe use our maths here, Corey, and we can say, if the time is greater than 60 seconds, because I think I did it in around 48, didn't I?
Yeah.
So if the time is greater than 60 seconds, then you have to actually do the course again. And if that's the case, I'm telling you, you'll be making sure you get it done in your less than 60 seconds. You don't want to go over the 60-second mark.
So if the time is greater than 60 seconds, then repeat course.
Repeat the course, yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so now is your time at home or in school to build out your very own obstacle course. But remember, it must include at least 3 loops. So take time to plan this out. Then, once you've planned it, test it. And you can test it with some family and friends at home. And if you've done all that and you're happy with it, don't forget to review it. like myself and Amanda did, and make some improvements. Maybe you're going to add some more fun elements, or maybe even add some more loops.
Thanks for watching today's episode of DreamSpace TV. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you get to go and have lots and lots of fun now looking at all those concepts. And join us next time to review this and learn something new. Bye.
Bye.